Are you ready to discover the untold secrets of one of the most fascinating civilizations in history? Get ready to be amazed because we're about to reveal 10 mind-blowing facts about ancient Rome that will leave you wondering how you never knew about them before. Fact number 1. The Coliseum sold gladiator sweat. Not being able to draw on the ladies? Consider a bedroom conflict. Gladiator sweat is the answer, so don't be alarmed. Yes, that is accurate. An important aphrodisiac in ancient Rome was the gleaming dirt from the muscular pecs of ferocious warriors. They were the Mick Jaggers of the ancient world and the rock stars of Rome. A strigil, which is a long, curved piece of metal that resembles a blunt sickle, was used to squeeze the gladiator's sweat after a brutal struggle with their opponent. The sweat was then bottled and sold to fans in the crowd. When not being used as an aphrodisiac, it was purportedly used medicinally to treat conditions including epilepsy. These people were still consuming sweat despite the repercussions. Compared to other gross habits of antiquity, this may not seem too bad, but hey, don't knock it till you try it. Fact number 2. They also drank their blood. The practice could be difficult to swallow for people with weak stomachs. However, the fine people of ancient Rome were a peculiar lot. Who are we to doubt the expertise of Roman physicians? At the time, it was thought that consuming the blood of a versatile fighter like a gladiator would aid in impotence and infertility. If that wasn't nauseating enough, some people thought eating the liver of a dead gladiator also helped with epilepsy, which we presume was a significant problem back then. A practice that stemmed from Etruscan burial customs, region north of Rome. Despite being motivated by religion, the practice became less popular as the Roman Republic expanded. Fact number 3. Caligula the emperor wanted his horse to be a consul. There were plenty of insane emperors throughout the Roman Empire, including the infamous Caligula. In the ancient Roman society, he was known for being among the most psychologically disturbed tyrants. There are even reports of the emperor killing members of his own family and beheading anyone who dared to disagree with him. He was also known to converse openly with the moon. He is perhaps best renowned for appointing Incitatus, his favorite horse, as counsel, though it was supposedly written approximately a good decade after his passing, thus whether or not this actually occurred is still up for question. It was said that he chose his horse to serve as counsel because he believed an animal would do the position more effectively than the Senate. Fact number 4. Romans believed Christians to be cannibals. During the rule of Emperor Tiberius, Christianity flourished. The teachings of Jesus of Nazareth are credited by scholars with the rise of Christianity. During the Roman Empire's rule, becoming a Christian carried a death threat. Rome was a polytheistic civilization, whereas Christians only had one God. Christians were persecuted mostly because of their beliefs rejecting Roman deities, particularly the emperor, whom Romans believed to be an incarnate God. Christians declined to offer the necessary sacrifices as a result. The Roman Empire did something evil to demonize Christians and Christianity as a whole. Roman leaders actively persecuted Christians by disseminating stories, one of which stated that Christians were cannibals, in an effort to deter the empire from accepting Christianity or sympathizing with its believers. What? Jesus and his disciples partake in what would become known as the Last Supper in the New Testament of the Bible. The wine and the bread stood in for Christ's flesh and blood, respectively. Because they interpreted this ritual literally, the Roman populace condemned Christian practices. Christians were frequently made to take the blame for tragedies like the Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD because of the stigmatization of their religion and the persecution of those who practiced it. Fact number 5. Bathrooms were a shared amenity. Rome was renowned for a variety of architectural feats, including their sewer systems. Although the Romans had a brilliant system in place for keeping their cities clean, it wasn't ideal. First of all, the gilded throne lacked any sense of seclusion. Citizens sat on benches with open portholes in the public area to do their business. Even while doing so, they had serious dialogues with their neighbors. Despite the fact that public restrooms helped maintain cities free of garbage, personal cleansing wasn't always as hygienic. They were forced to share a sponge, which they did not sanitize. It's one thing to use the toilet when your neighbors can see you. Sharing a toiletry is another thing, though. To avoid getting bogged down in the details, the Romans cleaned up by reaching across to a container filled with water where sticks were set with sponges attached. A citizen would take one, clean it as necessary, and then put it back in its proper location. The ancient Romans were unaware of the risks that germs pose to the human body at the time. Their trash management practices weren't exactly ideal. Trash removal is one thing, but trash treatment is quite another. Their waste management techniques were basic in comparison to those of today, although being effective. Fact number 6. Rome was founded by twins. So how did Latium change into Rome? Romulus and Remus, twins, are said to have been abandoned as infants in the region that would one day become known as Rome. According to the legend, a she-wolf nursed the twins before a huntsman came across them. They debated about who would get to name the new city and potential empire as adults. A conflict that started over the argument culminated in Romulus killing his brother Remus. Rome was then declared the city's name. Romulus gave sanctuary to fugitives and exiles so that Rome would have a larger population. The myth has been written about and shown since the end of the 3rd century BC or the beginning of the 4th century BC. Fact number 7. Though hygienic, they didn't use soap. Romans are credited with many architectural accomplishments, but perhaps one of the most well-known is the development of the bathhouse in response to their desire for bathing. Before there was contemporary running water, aqueducts offered pure, fresh water. The bathhouses, or thermae, were huge buildings with 3 different bathing sections and gymnasiums. Rich, poor, young, or old men, just males, of all ages were welcome to visit these baths and make advantage of the amenities. Once inside the thermae, visitors were led into an appetiterium, which is what we would today refer to as a dressing room. After the bather removed their clothes, a slave or servant guarded over their belongings. The bathers entered a gymnasium or a palestra after taking off their clothes. There was a clear procedure. Every aspect of the event was included. Men could work out and bulk up in the palestra before being oiled and escorted to the baths. The order in which you take your baths does matter. The Roman would enter a frigidarium first. As the word suggests, frigid means cold. The first bathhouse they went to was in a chilly space. After a brief soak, they would move into the tepidarium, often known as the warm room, to rest. They would next go to the caldarium, or thermal baths. A servant used a strigil to remove any remaining oil from their skin after the drawn-out procedure. After that was over, bathers would proceed in the same way backward. Fact number 8. They had one of the most efficient military forces in the world. You may be familiar with the Roman phalanx, a large-scale military formation that had the power to slay an adversary and reduce them to submission. Soldiers would march in formations of multiple ranks while standing shoulder to shoulder. Like many Roman customs, it was appropriated from the Mesopotamians, who originally inhabited what is now Turkey. The Greeks later perfected the first phalanx. The Romans became experts in military tactics after capturing a fifth of the modern world. The primary weapon used by soldiers in the military was a short sword called a gladius. They also carried supplies, a shield, a helmet, and a pilum, which is similar to a javelin. They were trained to kill expertly and fight in exact formation. Fact number 9. The original Roman calendar had 10 months. You might notice that many of the month titles on a modern calendar have Latin roots. The Roman numeral system is invoked by those origins. For instance, numbered months include September, October, November, and December. September is regarded as the 7th month, followed by October, November, and December. Fact number 10. The last Western emperor shared the same name as its founder. Rome was named after its supposed founder, Romulus. By chance, it likewise came to an end when an emperor by the name of Romulus was in power. Romulus Augustulus was his full name, and he went by the moniker Little Augustus. As he rose to power, Rome had already begun to fall. It was now only ruins of what it once was after being invaded twice. Only 10 months passed while he was in power. Then he was ousted, or more simply dismissed from his position and sent home. Every man dreaded that kind of fate. In many cases, tyrants would rather commit suicide or perish in battle than face disgrace. Ancient Rome was a civilization unlike any other. Its accomplishments in engineering, art, and governance continue to inspire and captivate us to this day. But beyond its well-known achievements, there are countless hidden gems and untold stories that make this era all the more fascinating. We hope that by sharing these 10 lesser-known facts, we have shed some light on the mysterious and captivating world of ancient Rome. Thanks for watching, and be sure to keep exploring the wonders of the past and the present.